the original Masters of the Voice threw Alduin from the sky with Dragonrend, and then threw him from the currents of time with the Elder Scroll. But as Paarthurnax said, he was not truly defeated, and he returned now. He's returned. So, I guess you're saying the ancient Nords sent Alduin forward in time.
Not intentionally. Some hoped he would be gone forever, forever lost. Meye. I knew better. Tidbo Amativ. Time flows ever onward. One day, he would surface. Which is why I have lived here. For thousands of mortal years, I have waited. I knew where he would emerge, but not when.
Okay, so how does any of this help me?
Tid Krent. Time was shattered here because of what the ancient Nords did to Alduin. If you brought that Kell, that Elder Scroll back here to the Tid Ahran, the Time Wound, with the Elder Scroll that was used to break time, you may be able to cast yourself back to the other end of the break.
Wow.
You could learn Dragonrend from those who created it.
Okay. So I guess what he's saying is, yeah, there's a fissure in the space-time continuity here, caused when the ancient Nords threw Alduin out of the time stream, and when he skipped back in, there must be this fissure he's talking about, and if we can get an Elder Scroll, or the Elder Scroll rather, wherever it might be, we may be able to travel back, or at least send our consciousness back, and learn the Dragonrend shout from those who created it, which would of course give us the tool we need to maybe permanently defeat Alduin here in the present. But let's ask Paarthurnax, do you know where I can find the Elder Scroll?
Croesus, no. I know little of what has passed below in the long years I have lived here. You are likely better informed than I.
The Lore Keeper at the College of Winterhold might know.
Trust your instincts, Dovahkiin. Your blood will show you the way.
How could an Elder Scroll cast Alduin through time?
Vormindok, I do not know. Perhaps in the very doing, they erased the knowing of it from time itself. The Dove are children of Akatosh. Thus, we are specially attuned to the flow of time. Perhaps also uniquely vulnerable. I warned them against such a rash action. Even I could not foresee its consequences. Nust Lihon, they would not listen.
Guys, that's a good point. Akatosh, of course, is the dragon god of time, and all of the Dove, the dragons, are his children, like figuratively and kind of literally as well. So, according to Paarthurnax, that makes them both uniquely sensitive to and perhaps also vulnerable to machinations in time. Okay. So anyway, are you saying you were there?
Yes. There were a few of us that rebelled against Alduin Stur, his tyranny. We aided the humans in his overthrow. But they did not trust us, ni Ov. Their inner counsels were kept hidden from us. I was far from here on the day of Alduin's downfall, but all Dove felt the sundering of time itself.
What does the Dragonren shout actually do?
I cannot tell you in detail. I never heard it used. Kogan. It was the first Thum created solely by mortals. It was said to force a dragon to experience the concept of mortality. A truly von Mindoran. Incomprehensible idea to the immortal Dove.
God. No wonder it messed them up. Guys, I don't know if you as you know, people have considered your own mortality, but if you have for any length of time, you know, the longer you think about it, the more intimidating it becomes. And so, but these immortal Dove, of course, have never even considered it. They're immortal. That, like, the concept of death, it's meaningless to them. So if that's what this shout does, it ties in both with the suffering of the enslaved humans under the dragons. Like, they're, you know, the dragons can't even comprehend their suffering, so they made a shout that that shows it, that forces them to experience it, and it's such a shock that they just get stunned and they fall out of the sky. That's I love the way that kind of locked together, the way he explained that, the way that it works. Forces a dragon to experience mortality. Wow. Okay. Supposing I do find an Elder Scroll, what do I do with it?
Return it here to the Tid Ahran. Then, Kele Vomindok. Nothing is certain with such things. But I believe the scroll's bond with the Tid Ahran will allow you a seeing, a vision of the moment of its creation. Then you will feel, know Dragonrend in the power of its first expression. You will see them, Wuthfadon, my friends, Haken, Gormlaith, Feldir.
Hakon, Gormlaith, and Feldir? Who are they?
The first mortals that I taught the Thum. The first tongues, the leaders of the rebellion against Alduin. They were mighty in their day, even to attempt to defeat Alduin. Sahrot Hum. The Nords have had many heroes since, but none greater.
So if we find an Elder Scroll and bring it to the Tidaran, the fissure, the fracture in time, and we get to see the vision of the past, we'll see these mighty legends from the dawn of time, the first Thums, who overthrew the enslaved, overthrew the enslavement of the dragons, freed humanity, and spread humanity throughout Tamriel. Really, it should be pretty epic. Let's ask him one last question before we continue onwards here. You're the master of the Greybeards. Do others come here to train?
I have taught the way of the voice for centuries, and the Thum since long before that. But no, Dovahkiin. Others do not come here to train anymore. Saran, you are the first in over 100 years. I meditate on the Rotmulag, the words of power. I counsel in their use. It is enough for me.
You meditate on the words? What do you mean?
Knowing a word of power is to take its meaning into yourself. Contemplate the meaning of a Rotmulag. You will become closer to that word as it fills your inner self. Will I teach you, Dovahkiin? What word calls you to deeper understanding? There are 3 to master. Fus, Faim, and Yol.
Fus is force. I think Yol had something to do with fire, right? And I can't remember what Faim is. Let's see what he has to tell us.
Fade in your tongue. Mortals have greater affinity for this word than the dove. Everything mortal fades away in time, but the spirit remains. Ponder the meaning of spirit. Unslad Zi. Where mortal flesh may wither and die, the spirit endures. That is fine. Let that meaning fill you. Sum Ark Mora. You will find that your spirit will give you more strength.
Eternal spirit added. Wow. Okay, so I wish to meditate on a word of power. Alright, so he's acting kind of like a shrine now. I can get a blessing from him.
Drem Yolok. Greeting.
Wow.
Sum Ark Mora.
Guys, that was a whole lot of information to absorb all at once. I want to check out that active effect that we got from him. Oh, maybe that wasn't what I thought it was. I'm not sure. Not quite sure what that was. Maybe I learned something? Fade. Well, I'm not quite sure what happened there, but that's okay. Alright, guys, let's, Wow, I'm not even sure what to say to all that. Well, first of all, let me save. Okay, so I guess, basically, our next task has to be to find an Elder Scroll. Or rather, the Elder Scroll. If we can find it, then we can use it to learn Dragonrend, and then maybe we might have a fiddler's chance in hell of defeating Alduin for once and for all. Wow. Okay, guys, let's check out our quest here. Yeah, this is our new quest, Elder Knowledge. I met the master of the Greybeards, the dragon Paarthurnax. He told me that the ancient Nords used an Elder Scroll to cast Alduin forward in time. If I can recover that same Elder Scroll, I may be able to use it to learn the Dragonrend shout directly from the ancient heroes. Okay, it says learn the location of the Elder Scroll or talk to Arngeir. Okay, well I think talking to Arngeir is probably going to be our first choice then. Here we are at the peak of the throat of the world. Let's return to High Hrothgar. Wow, that was kind of a lot to absorb there. Let's go back to our favorite, Fusroda. That's very useful on this character. Where does Arngeir hang out? Is he at back of the courtyard here? Here we go. Okay.
So, you spoke to Paarthurnax.